Quick one. Nice sunny day. And I started to think about the sun. And to me, the sun is a mirror. It looks like a mirror. And I also have my own personal kind of theory. This is not a fact. I think that within our microcosms, we all have our own separate suns. I mean, perception is subjective, but that doesn't mean that there are like however many fucking thousands or million suns traversing somewhere. Yeah, it reflects itself on the macro because it's a macro expression of a mirror, but it fractalizes itself. Yeah, so just like the Mandelbrot fractal, it's one thing, but it's, yeah, you get it. Now, I started to think, why did the ancients, or why do we have narratives or stories within the dream that the sun is God, or the sun is the physical or metaphysical representation of God itself? Where does this come from? Where does this kind of belief come from? And I think I started to delve a bit deeper into that, and I think I'm a bit closer to understanding it. I don't have all the answers, but I think it's a good starting point for the conversation. Now, hear me out. So we know that we are life itself, yeah? Awareness, consciousness itself, whatever we want to call it, doesn't really matter, it's the same thing. Now,
yeah, did you see what I was trying to do though?
We realised that, one second.
Rather than do the numbers, let's talk about the sort of the impact on the story. Because I can read all them.
Anyway, the impact of the story. Synchromysticism, crazy. Anyway, now, when we look at all of life on Earth, right? Life on Earth is almost kind of like a sped up expression of change. It doesn't have to even sped up. I think sped up might just be like a necessary addition, really. It's just an expression of change, yeah? Because we are change itself. We can't be outside of it. If you think you're outside of it, you stay there. Nobody cares. Because we observe the seasons shift, yeah? Our bodies age, empires rise and fall. Everything happens, yeah? When you're in the present moment, you don't see it because you feel like it's gonna last forever, blah, 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 blah. But nothing lasts forever, yeah? Everything kind of rises and collapses. Change, it's constantly changing, yeah? Now, in this kind of like objective view, right? When we take one second. Right, in this kind of, if you take an objective view or step outside of the change and you observe it across the whole kind of our knowledge of what we know life to be, we almost kind of accelerate it and we begin to see the truth. Yeah, we begin to glimpse the truth a little bit. Yeah, and that truth is that everything that arises or spawns here will eventually dissolve back into non-existence, yeah? Everything, yeah? Whether it's a sequoia, whether it's bacteria, whether it's it doesn't really matter, yeah? Any creature, whatever, everything that spawns here will eventually dissolve back to non-existence. So whether we return to non-existence or we, in fact, let me qualify that. When I say non-existence of that being, yeah, because when the tree collapses, it will become something else, yeah. So we return to this state of non-existence of being, or we can look at it as maybe we simply shift form again. This cycle of change is undeniable, yeah. It's undeniable. Nobody can. It can't be tampered with. It's a universal truth, yeah. Now, I think this is why the ancients revered the sun, because it's the visible pulse of this cycle. It's the visible thing that kind of keeps this cycle going. Because without the sun, there's no photosynthesis, there is no life, yeah. Everything's dead. There's no more life. So if we come to the fundamental points that, okay, life is change itself. Yeah, change in motion. Yeah, form to form, whatever it is. The thing that facilitates it, yeah, the very thing that makes it possible is the sun. It initiates. It's a very kind of like, if you like, maybe the initiator of growth, light, decay, and even rebirth. Yeah, in many cases. Now, as long as the sun remains, yeah, then the illusion of continuity and life carries on. But here's the thing. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you how regardless of how much work is done to increase awareness, humans still end up falling into this make-believe thing of believing the story of their own egos or avatars, right? What do I mean by that? Because we have an almost intrinsic belief, or not intrinsic, but like a widely held belief that one day the sun will set, and when it does, what remains is what always was. Yeah, non-existence. Yeah, we're all gonna, be. I mean, the NASA assholes will tell you that life will just get blasted into oblivion when the sun explodes and all this crap. It will never happen. It's stupid stuff. They're dummies. Now, we have no proof that the sun was set for good. We have no proof. We have no proof of the beginning of the sun. If you believe the Big Bang, this is where we part ways and I say goodbye, okay? But yeah, let me carry on. We have no proof of the sun being like starting or proof that it will ever set. All we know is that it's a theory, that we have theories, and those theories emanate from within the dream. Yeah, they're not external, they're not objective. So this idea that like the sun is a star, it's not, it will exhaust its fuel and it will collapse into another form, blah blah. It's a theory, and it just comes from within the dream. Yeah, it comes from within the dream, comes from within the simulation, within like the model. It's a story told by minds that are embedded and wedded in time and matter, people that live in the flesh. This is also a fact. Now, here's a deeper layer. Nobody has ever observed the end of the sun, and all we know is it rises and we rise with it, and the end is not proven. It's only predicted from within the simulation. Yeah, cool. So this becomes symbolic, because when we start to now really think about it, we start to realize that the sun is consciousness made visible. Yeah, and its death, quote unquote, or its exhaustion or end, is simply the projected fear of the ego, the part of us which believes that everything must end, because it will end and change form into something else. What is that? The flesh, not your essence. Do you see how you project everything into reality? So that very fear that is embedded within the avatar of endings is once again projected onto the external screen of the mirror as this fear or this theory that the sun will end because it fears its own end. The micro reflecting the macro. Undeniable truth. Yeah? Cool. Now, if we know that life is a mirror, yeah, we've proven that. Go back and check that shit is there. We've proven that life is a mirror, yeah? Then if life is a mirror, and this whole experience is a mirror, life on earth is a mirror, yeah? We are within some sort of like 360 all fucking IMAX style, all encompassing mirror, yeah? So in that awareness, then perhaps when the sun only dies in worlds, quote unquote, or in earths, quote unquote, where we forget that it never did or it can't. So again, as I always tell you, what you believe becomes real, and you are the only person in your reality. As much as you see people walking around and stuff like that, everybody is within their own world, bro. I am telling you, everybody is within their own world. So you might as well come to the realization that you're the only person here. You're the only person. When I say here is your microcosm. Yes, there's a broader reflection, It's almost like I'm playing a video game, yeah, in my house, and I am on the network connected to 100 people, and we're all playing Call of Duty or something like this, and we're all in this fucking place and we're speaking to each other. But my experience is mine. And furthermore, this interaction with others could all just be illusion. I could be interacting with bots. I could be interacting with the AI itself that has generated that for me to get that experience or learn from, yeah? Or experience it, whatever the case may be. This is a fact. It can't be denied. So if in this network of video games that we're all playing and one person believes that something's going to happen and that thing happens, it doesn't affect my reality, because how I perceive or what I believe to be true is what he believes, and what it doesn't apply to me. So we live in completely different worlds. So the microcosm theory, or microcosm fact, should I say, still stands. And I've experienced it firsthand. Yeah. So it can be reasonably argued that
yes, okay, got it.
the sun, it's not the sun is not it's not something that's going to die. It's not something that's going to end and, you know, take with their whole life and stuff like that. It's simply a mirror, you know. And people say it will die because they fear their own end. Yeah. And no one has ever lived to see it, and no one will ever live to see it. Yeah. It's always risen, and it's always been here, and maybe it always will. And that kind of what do I call it? That truth, yeah, should drive home the fact that we are not these bodies, yeah, because it's, as long as there's power, electricity powering up the video game experience, right? And I can play all these avatars, then the game will carry on, yeah? And change will carry on, forms will change, etc., until such time that the essence, yeah, the thing behind your eyes decides it's had enough, and it's learned its lessons, and it's remembered what it is. Because until it remembers, you gotta remember the time in this construct is not the same as time outside this construct. Ask anybody that has died, or anybody that's had an NDE, or anybody that's had any sort of like traumatic experience like that, comas and stuff like that. It feels like you're gone for only a few seconds, but at the same time, whilst you're in it, it feels like literal years. it's crazy, yeah. So yeah, so the sun's not going anywhere. The sun is actually you. It's part of you, because remember, everything's projected out, including our fears and what we actually are, our essence, yeah? It's hard to really kind of wrap your head around, bro. But at this point in the game, yeah, we call it like it is, bro. Alright. I can see some influencers in the world doing a TikTok dance or something like that in the park. That stuff always blows my mind, you know, bro. Like, it's so wild. Like,